I haven't checked what the result is for the millage that was set aside for mass transit, but I just wanted to show you this crossing on Hannon Road where heavy trains go by. Okay, and we have gigantic landfills over here. Now, on either side of this road, there is no sidewalk. Canton Charter Township and other charter townships, from what I understand, get state money. They get state money from our taxes from other communities that can't get that tax money to build sidewalks. But Wayne County does not do that unless it's included in a plan. I called and asked why there wasn't a sidewalk put here when all these roads were rebuilt, but I was told that they had forgotten to put it in there, and that if we want one, and I don't know who the we is, but if we want one, we'll have to wait 15 years for this road to wear out so they can do the project again. Just letting you know. Now, the mass transit issue. About a half mile up this road is Michigan Avenue, and then another quarter mile is a bus station. There are people who take the bus to that end point. That's the western terminus of a couple of lines on Michigan Avenue, and they walk to Hannon Road, and then they walk down Hannon Road. Then they gotta deal with this dangerous situation here with no sidewalk, or walk through the tick-filled weeds, and then on down there where they may turn left to go to Van Born and work at a couple of the companies that are along that strip, or go all the way down and go work at the dump itself. And there are a few people that do that, unbelievably. You know, I grew up in New York City. Yeah, I didn't see anybody doing that sort of thing, but I suppose it happened. And now there's no bus that runs along Hannon here. There's no bus on Van Born. There's no bus on E-Course. There's not even one that goes back and forth and up and down. You know what I mean? There's nothing. There's no train here. This is a large train. That's Norfolk Southern sitting over there. Canadian National comes through here as well. There's 2 tracks here. We could be running a train up and down all day long. And Michigan Avenue as well. We could have a train there, running right down the middle or under it. I do not understand where all our tax money is going. I'm not going to bemoan the fact that I also don't understand where the American instinct or action, or whatever we want to call it, behavior, has gone to improve things. There are some people sitting around and they're satisfied with what's going on, and they don't want anybody else. They don't want to do the work. And then there's a whole lot of people who are very afraid in the middle. Those are the people that pay the taxes, or don't pay the taxes in the charter township, I should say. And they don't want to see their taxes go up because they moved here, because they moved to those charter townships because they could afford them. They didn't have the, quote, city taxes, unquote. But where is the money going? It goes to Lansing. Our federal dollars go to Washington. Federal dollars, when they come back to the state, go to Lansing, but do they come to the local areas? No, they run things on the local budget. We got $4 billion in lead replacement line cash, and it went to go fund some business Yahoo activities in the middle of nowhere. And now we're seeing data centers popping up all over the place and people giving tax abatements. What do we hire these people for? How come our taxes go up and everybody else's don't exist? And then people like me and you and I, this is our mass transit system right now. This is the better part of it. Normally it looks more like this along the roads. Okay, thanks. Now this is one of the strangest facilities I know around here. This is the Amoresco site. They take gases from the gigantic dumps, which are off to our left here. which are square miles in size and hundreds of feet tall. And they take those gases and they store them in those tanks right there. And they were supposed to run a power system, which is located right over there. And the Michigan Public Services Commission told them they could do it. They gave them the permit. Now that's over there in the Charter Township of Canton. This is so far removed. This is on the actual border of it. This is so far removed from their quote commercial unquote and quote residential unquote locations that you can't get farther away. But it is right on the border with heavily populated areas. And no one was told this was coming in, but let's skip that part. So they built it, they built this system, and they started running the electrical system. And then they said, oh, it's not working. Can we just not do that? And the Michigan Public Services Commission said, yeah, that's fine. So now when they have excess gas, and even when this was working, they would have waste gas that they couldn't burn efficiently because it would mess up the engines that powered the electrical unit. They burn off the excess that they have. So that is the really nasty stuff that they're polluting into the air right now, which goes up over in the air and settles down in Canton. That's amazing, isn't it? Okay, but it's invisible. Now that's a problem because way down here, 1.5 miles, there's another brand new dump. And they're going to be building, they are building one that is 5 times the size of this. 5 times the size of it. Now, Waste Management gets gas for their trucks. You'll see it written on there. Recycled gas. So that's the recycled gas, and that's the waste gas that occurs when they get the recycled gas from the gigantic dumps. What am I trying to say to you here? What is this doing in a residential area? What is this doing in a residential area? I don't understand it. There are giant locations throughout Michigan that land is just nasty, it's destroyed. Have to spend decades cleaning it up. What do? They open a garbage dump in a place that is pristine. Or they build things like this in heavily populated areas. And who are they? Our government officials in the state. I'm afraid to say they don't know what they're doing. How could a guy from Manistee determine that this is a reasonable use of technology or affect and impact through state law the zoning of something like that? And how much does the local community make off of doing this to their neighbors? That's what I don't understand either. Well, thanks for listening. There's a lot of other things connected to this. If you got a data center being built in your area, good luck with that. Thank you. That nasty looking thing over there making cartoon noises is a waste gas flare. That's putting out waste gas that wasn't clean enough to put in these tanks so that they could be put in garbage trucks to power the engines. Originally, this system here in the Charter Township, Canton, was built to generate electricity, and the Michigan Public Services Commission okayed it. But it turned out that this company that built this, which is an expert in it and does this all around the world, said, oh no, our technology doesn't work. Can we please just do the gas thing? And the Michigan Public Services Commission said, yeah, that's fine. Now, no one in the neighborhood next to this was let known about this. Over 400 houses, and there's another 2,000 within a 3/4 of a mile right across from a dump, which is where this gas comes from. They weren't asked about it because they're across the street from the Charter Township in which this abomination is located. And so they didn't have to ask them. They didn't have to ask their neighbors. They could just pollute their neighbor's air and collect a fee, and they didn't have to say anything to anybody because that's the way it goes. Gotta ask though, you know, what do you need square mile sized dumps that are hundreds of feet tall in residential areas? What's the reason for putting them in pristine areas where American bald eagles were living, and hawks and deer and raccoons and all sorts of creatures and stuff, some of which still haven't been cataloged, I'll have you know. Michigan hasn't been completely cataloged. So, anyway, there it is. Listen, it makes a sound too. Let's take a monster. Oh, God, got burning gas. It's so powerful. We can do anything we want, right? Your tax money at work, enriching people far away and hurting people close by.